Hi, everyone, and welcome to Introduction to Literature. I am your instructor for this spring term, and my name is Amory Bodelson. I am excited to be teaching Intro to Lit again. It's been a few terms since I last taught it, and I look forward to working with all of you. I wanted to just film a short intro video, introduce myself, so you have a face and a name to put with my contact info on Blackboard and to walk you through some of the components of the Blackboard shell. This is a strictly online Intro to Lit class, so we don't meet at any point virtually or otherwise, but I want you to know from the get-go that I'm available and happy to meet with you either on campus or via Zoom. I do have a Zoom link under my contact info, and would just ask that you coordinate with me via email a time, and we can certainly set up something to meet if you're having questions or concerns or just looking for a little bit of feedback on any of the work that you do. So again, my name is Amory. I've been at Western since 2009, and I teach Intro to Lit, this course, American Lit, English composition, and speech, and occasionally a few other courses depending on the needs of our campus. And I have a background in English literature and a background in English writing. My undergrad is in writing and my graduate work is in literature. So I was very excited when Western started offering literature courses. Let's start with talking about your textbooks. So the two textbooks that you'll be using for this course are the very thick, although it's called the shorter 13th edition. This is the Norton Introduction to Literature, editor Kelly J. Mays, and it is the shorter 13th edition. I have provided you a link to this under the syllabus and schedule area of Blackboard. You can get it through the bookstore. I did see that you can also find it online on Amazon, but make sure that you get this 13th edition because the pages will correlate with that. The other book is not a textbook, but a novel. This is called The History of Love, and it is by Nicole Krauss. It is, let's see, about 250 pages, and some of the pages are very short, as you see here, so it's not really a full 250 pages. We will be reading this in the first couple of weeks of class. It's one of my favorite books. I hope you enjoy it too. It's a little bit different narrative style. There's a few different main characters in it, and you'll notice that when each of them talk or write, usually the font changes. So that's a helpful tip when you begin reading that. And as for our course, let me move this little window over if I can. So the Intro to Lit course is set up by weekly folders. So our classes begin on the 10th, on Monday, and so you will find a folder for each corresponding week. As you see here at the top, every week you'll have assignments due on Wednesday and Sunday via Blackboard, and they will be due by midnight. So if we go into week one, you'll see that I've specified what's due on Wednesday and what's due on Sunday. So for this first week, you're going to log in, poke around a little bit, look at the syllabus, look at the schedule of work. Maybe if you have a planner or use Outlook or some other calendar program, you can put some of those due dates in your calendar and start to get familiar with the kind of cadence and tempo of this course. You will have assignments due weekly on both of those days. So it is key that you are logging into Blackboard several times a week and checking your student email. I always put announcements weekly on Blackboard, and so if there's any changes to anything or if I've added or augmented any material, I will let you know that there. So for this first week, you are logging in. You're going to watch this video that I'm recording right now. And then I have a few other videos that I recorded. They're relatively short, usually under 10 minutes. One is on just reading fiction. We start with fiction because it's usually what we're most familiar with, we're most used to. And that includes short stories and the novel we'll be reading. And one of the first pieces that you're going to read is a piece by Jamaica Kincaid. And it is about a one-page piece called Girl. And so I have a video recorded there for you to watch. And then I'm going to ask you to be creative this first week and write a piece similar to what Kincaid did. And for these more creative pieces, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for creativity and thought into what you've been assigned to do. So I'll occasionally sprinkle in some of these just to help you maybe start to see how the authors create their pieces of literature and how those pieces differ. And then there's some more material in week 1, including some PowerPoints, and I'm asking you to introduce yourself on the discussion board. Since we are an online class, we don't get the benefit of seeing each other in person, but we'd like to know a little bit more about our classmates. So if you can introduce yourself by Sunday, and then by next week, Wednesday, I ask that you respond to a couple of your classmates. And then I'll have you start reading one of your first longer pieces, long in that it's maybe 20 to 30 pages, and it is called Where Are You Going, Where Have You Been by Joyce Carol Oates. It is a piece that references a true crime that happened in the, I believe, 1960s in the Southwest. There is reference to violence, although we don't ever see violence, but it is based on a true life serial killer by the name of Charles Schmid. So that is one of the first short story pieces you'll be reading in addition to Kincaid's Girl. So for each genre of literature that we're doing, you're writing a literary analysis essay. So your first essay will be on fiction. Your second essay will be on poetry. Your third essay will be on drama. And I've assigned readings for each of those segments, and you will get to write your literary analyses essays on a piece that we've read together as a class in each of those sections. And each of those essays is 150 points. Your final assignment in this class is a critical theory essay. And by critical theory, we're talking about applying the lens of various theories that critics have created, such as psychoanalysis, Marxism, feminism, reader response, and using that to critically analyze a piece. So when you write your 3 literary analysis essays throughout the course, you're doing more of your own reaction to it. For the final piece, you're going to try to apply a specific lens to look at that piece of literature, and you get to select the piece, one of which that we've read as a class. So your final piece can be on poetry, drama, or fiction. So 4 essays that you're writing for this course. Each of the essays will entail a rough draft that you peer review in class or on Blackboard with your classmates via discussion board, and all of those will be worth points. And then you'll have some reader responses, which are more informal reactions to a piece, a few creative writing pieces, and some journals just asking you to reflect on your reactions to what you're reading, what you like, what you don't, maybe connections that you can make between pieces or your own life experiences. One of the things that I love about literature is that it does teach us empathy. It helps us to understand the lives of other people. It helps us to maybe be more considerate and more empathic when things are happening. All literature is going to deal with conflict, because without conflict, we wouldn't be reading it. Without conflict, we wouldn't be watching the programs we do on Netflix or YouTube. Conflict helps us to work problems out. It helps us to understand how we would react to something. And sometimes reading something that is a piece of fiction helps you connect better than reading historical dates and facts and figures. If you read about somebody's account of what it was like to live through 1920s Harlem versus just reading, kind of a plain textbook edition, you're usually going to connect it better, because we connect with characters. We empathize with what people go through. So to me, that's really exciting. And I know that some of you are taking this course because you love reading. And I also know that some of you are taking this course because it seemed like a nice option to fulfill a requirement, especially if you are transferring to a 4-year. And if you're not in the habit of reading, as I put on the announcement, the start of the new year is a great time to build a habit. And I know that I'm trying to build some healthier habits into my life. I even downloaded a habit app. But my recommendation, and one that I heard about it through a conference I went to, is to just start giving yourself 20 to 30 minutes a day set aside for reading. And so you'll be doing quite a bit of reading in this course. And if you're not in the habit of reading for pleasure, giving yourself that timed increment daily, maybe setting a reminder, doing it, before you go to bed, and start trying to make some notes as you read, whether that's on an actual piece of paper or in your phone or on your laptop, because one of the best ways to start thinking about and writing about and analyzing literature is to take notes. It helps save you time, and it helps point out some of the areas you might want to focus on in your papers. So that means, underlining things, highlighting things, putting question marks near areas that you're confused, looking up definitions or references that you're unfamiliar with, and just starting to look for things like symbols and themes that come through in the piece, noticing how the characters are presented and what the setting is and when it was set, and if there are any references to historical time periods or things happening in the world. So critically reading asks you to engage a little bit more with the text, and I think because it's literature and hopefully more engaging than a regular textbook, you will be more interested in engaging that way. That's my hope. So that's a little bit of rundown of what we're doing in this course. Again, my name's Amory, and I check my email frequently. It's the easiest, quickest way to get a hold of me, and I am, again, happy to meet via Zoom or in my office, whatever works for you in your calendar or your schedule. And I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you and having a great spring 2022 term. I know we're all pretty tired of the state of the world right now, but I really am looking forward to getting back into the classroom, into the work, kind of setting up a regular routine and engaging with all of you. So enjoy the last part of your break, and I look forward to meeting you. Thanks.